After years of planning, the time has finally come to power up Lubbock with retail competition. Hello again, everyone. I'm Matt Stell.
I'm Terry Furman. For the next 30 minutes, we plan on getting most of your questions answered when it comes to switching to retail options, from how billing will work to who you need to call if your power goes out.
So how did we get to this point in the first place? And why was now the time for Lubbock to catch up to places like Dallas, Houston, and even Odessa, who all have had retail options for decades?
Yeah, our Jaxie Pigeon explains.
Welcome to ERCOT.
March 18th, 2018, the day the Public Utility Commission of Texas approved Lubbock Power and Light to join ERCOT, a historic move becoming the largest city to plug into the state's electric grid in 25 years. So the road to electric competition began. Over Memorial Day weekend in 2021, a successful transition of 70% or around 83,000 LP&L customers to ERCOT. Lubbock City Council sealed the deal in February 2022, voting in favor of bringing deregulation to the hub city, inviting in dozens of electric providers for residents and businesses to choose from.
Ratepayers want choice when it comes to the services that they consume, and they want choice in their electric utility.
1 year later, the city designated Reliant, TXU, and Octopus Energy as default providers, a backup plan to ensure no one is left in the dark.
We've commonly been calling them safety net providers because that's exactly what they do. They exist to make sure that folks land at a responsible and reasonable retail electric provider, even if they haven't made a decision.
After months of vetting numerous energy companies across the state, the city revealed last October all of the retailers coming to town.
We're now at a place we're saying that the initial list that's going up on the website has 34 different providers that will be operating here in Lubbock.
Just ahead of the new year, LP&L shifted remaining homes and businesses from the Southwest Power Pool to ERCOT, marking the first time 100% of its customers were on the same grid. The culmination of that 8-year-long migration project brings us to now, where starting January 5th, customers will have a 6-week window to pick a provider that best fits their energy needs. Come March, customers can expect their meters to be connected to their chosen providers. In almost 6 years to the day after getting the green light from city officials, the competitive retail market for power will be a reality. Jaxie Pigeon, KLBK News.
Thanks so much, Jaxie. Even though the retail market officially opens tomorrow, there are some people out there that are still in the dark on what the options will be.
Yeah, KLBK's Eddie Catano heard from a few of them and others who also say they just want something that's affordable and reliable.
Honestly, I didn't even know anything about it.
I haven't really heard much about it.
I just heard about it in the last 30 minutes.
You might be feeling the same as these LP&L customers.
I didn't even know that was going on.
How do you choose the right providers when there's so many options?
I'm not great about change, and I'm not. It's kind of hard for me, but I know that in the world everything's changing, so I knew that I didn't think we were gonna have that many providers.
And for one Lubbock woman, Marisol Soto, she says a whole community like hers feels left out from such an important decision.
Necesitamos tener más información con la gente que habla.
We do need to have more information, especially the people who speak Spanish. We need to know all the details in Spanish because we will understand it better. We will know what decision to make, what needs to be better to change over.
But collectively, they are happy that options are now available. But the questions are still there.
What's it going to do to sign up? How quickly they're doing things? What exactly are they doing different?
And every person we spoke with say price is important and they want a cheaper option.
We also want things that are going to work for us, not something that's just going to be cheaper but it's no good.
If it's cheaper, I'll definitely be in for that.
People work hard for their money, so they should have options on how they want to spend it, especially for things like this, which is a necessity to most people. And as the city of Lubbock is growing, I think that it's great to see things like this also expanding with that growth.
Eddie Catano, KLBK News.
Well, still to come right here on Power Up Lubbock, we sit down with LP&L to find out what happens if you made a deposit.
And will you still get to choose your provider if you live in an apartment or a duplex? Stay with us.
Things are on the horizon. Soon, you'll be able to choose the electricity provider that's right for you. Discover why TXU Energy is the #1 choice for millions of Texans. Because with TXU Energy, you're choosing the 5-star provider that delivers year-round savings, guaranteed price protection, and 24/7 service. And as you can see, you're in good company. Choice is coming soon, Lubbock. Call, click, or tap to learn more.
TXU Energy for home and business.
We can't help what you do before you go to bed, but we can make sure the sleep is solid once you finally get there. And during the extended New Year's super sale at Denver Mattress, the more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend. Or purchase a Tempur-Pedic and get a $300 gift. Check out the Summit for only $299.99, plus 6 years no interest financing and free shipping. Here's to 365 nights of better sleep. Happy New Year from Denver Mattress.
Your home feel like it's stuck underwater because of clogged drains? That's not normal. Call Lowry, and we'll unclog your drains for only $49.50 each, with no overtime fee for the service call, nights, weekends, even holidays. Let's get your drains flowing again, because at Lowry, we get you back to normal. And normal is beautiful. Call us or chat online at trustlowry.com.
Are you in chronic pain?
Neogen simply puts back a physiological demand that is not being met. It's like a spark plug in an engine that's not working. Change the spark plug, engine starts working. Reestablish cell signaling, that nerve starts to heal. But it takes time to heal that nerve. If you're dealing with chronic pain and aren't getting relief through medication, call Vortex Health to find out how Neogen treatments can help relieve your pain. If you have any chronic pain, issues, problems, call us. We'll be glad to treat you.
What's cooking at the Hook and Reel?
We love our customers. Special occasions are my favorite.
Bring the Hook and Reel to your next family or corporate event. Mother's Day, Father's Day, big groups, small groups, private events, or large corporate affairs. Hook and Reel can serve them all. Imagine how great your next event will be when you plan to have Hook and Reel deliver delicious, mouth-watering seafood with all the fixings.
Yeah, we got wings.
Hook and Reel, your locally owned Cajun seafood and bar.
I like to call Matt Rose the busiest man in Lubbock right about now, because you've been on all of our screens for the past couple of years talking about this moment, and it's finally here. The switch to retail competition here in Lubbock. We've got a couple of questions that a lot of folks just want answered. Some of the things that we really haven't covered over the last year. The big question from a lot of people, from LP&L's perspective, will my new bill be more, less, or about the same as my current LP&L bill?
It's going to be less, about the same, or more.
Gotcha.
is the easiest answer. But in all seriousness, it's going to be dependent on what plan you choose and what the cost of that plan is. You know, the nice thing about this process that has been enjoyed by about 8 to 10 million Texans for the last 20 years, those not so far away from us. You know, if you look at Big Spring, Abilene, Wichita Falls, St. Angelo, Midland, Odessa, they've been doing this for about 20 years. But what you're going to find as you venture into this is that you're going to look for a band of cost. And what I mean by that is, if you take LP&L's rate, what you've paid as an LP&L customer, all in rate, going back 3 years.
Right.
Basically, that rate has gone from about 13.9 cents up to 17 cents, and then back down to right about 14.5 cents where we are today.
Right.
Anything within that band is going to be an acceptable cost for a new provider.
Will companies be allowed to go door to door to sell their product, sell their service?
Yes, and they've already been doing that today. But we also want to make sure that folks stay safe. And so if you go to LP&L.com, and you're going to hear me say that numerous times, if you go to LP&L.com, what you're going to find is that we have a list of all the providers that are going to be operating in Lubbock. There's about 40 of them on that list. However, some of those providers only offer plans to business customers.
Right.
Some of those providers, a couple of them, they only offer plans to large businesses. And so from your standard retail residential customer, you're going to be looking at, 30, 34 different folks to choose from. And on that list, we list out everybody that has what's called a peddler's permit, which allows them to go door to door. Okay. So if somebody comes to your door, what I've been telling these groups for months now is take everything with a grain of salt. If somebody shows up at your door, don't necessarily give them information or sign up right then and there. Take the information that they're willing to offer you, go research it, and then call them back if you're interested. It's a way to stay safe, but it also allows you to go check our list and make sure that they're actually a provider in this market and that they're not a scammer.
Good stuff. So first off, when will I get my last LP&L bill, and will I get my deposit back? I know you said you've gotten that question
Yes.
quite a bit over the past couple of weeks.
People are very, very interested in the status of their deposit.
Yeah.
What I would tell you is that the vast majority of LP&L customers do not have a deposit on file because it's been returned at some point in the last 7 or 8 years.
Gotcha. Okay.
Starting in 2015, we put a policy in place that if you have 12 months of continuously on-time payment, we automatically refund your deposit. And so from 2017, 2018, we refunded most everybody's deposits. But there are still some that have them. And what it will be is that the shopping window goes from January 5th to February 15th.
Right.
We then shut that down, and then starting March 4th, whenever you get your City of Lubbock Utilities bill during the month of March, you'll see a finaled out section from LP&L. And then going forward, starting in April, you'll get your bill from your new chosen provider, but you will continue to go through City of Lubbock Utilities for those other city services outside of LP&L, water, wastewater, stormwater, solid waste. Gotcha. All of that stays the same.
Okay.
And so basically for LP&L customers, your setup will now become very similar to what a spec customer's setup looks like.
There's been word going around that customers will see allegedly a $30 fee from LP&L on their new bill, whether that's with Reliant, TXU. Is that true, Matt? And if so, what is it for?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I've seen that bounce around a lot, people saying that $30 fee.
Sure.
What they're referring to is if you are a standard customer, meaning that you receive electric service from us, but you don't have solar panels on your home. If you're one of those types of customers, your set meter fee every month is $8.07. Okay. If you are a solar customer, your set meter fee is $30. And the reason being is that solar customers pay less of a base charge.
Right.
But the idea being, if you go produce all of your electricity, we hope that you do, that $30 covers your side of infrastructure maintenance.
If my power is out, who do I call?
You're ultimately going to call us, LP&L, because we're still going to be the ones that are out there fixing the lines in the alley if there's a big storm. If a car runs into a pole, like happens, on a regular basis across the city, our guys are the ones that are going to be going and repairing that infrastructure, getting everything hooked back up. You can call us directly, or likely when you look at your provider's bill, it's going to have an outage number. And you're going to use that. However way, it's going to get back to us. Okay. Whether you contact your rep and they give us a work order, or you contact us directly.
Becky Tipton wants to know, how does someone who gets paper bills from LP&L or pays by cash at a United Service desk sign up for a retail service and then continue to get a paper bill?
Yeah, we've seen that a lot in these town halls where people have put a very large emphasis on a local presence. So when you go through this process, one of the questions that you're going to want to ask, if you're this lady who wants to keep paying in the same way, is, hey, company X, Y, and Z, what are your payment options? Gotcha. I like to pay this particular way. Can you accommodate that? And if they can't, then that's probably something you want to take into account. Most of them will have some sort of affiliation with a Western Union station that's at Walmart, or it's at Market Street or HEB. But that's not really what these folks are looking for. They're looking for, I want to go down there, see a person, and pay them.
Exactly.
And there are local providers already, but I think that's an important question to ask.
That's good. Yeah. Nancy Constancio wants to know, if I live in an apartment, will my complex choose the provider, or will I still have the option to pick one myself for my unit?
So the simple answer to this is whoever's name is on that account today, and whoever pays that bill today is the person that gets to make this decision. Okay. So if you rent a home or if you rent an apartment if your landlord or your leasing agency, if your utilities are paid through your rent, then your landlord or your leasing agent is the one that's going to make that decision.
Okay.
If they require you in your lease payment to establish utilities yourself, it's your call.
Okay. Matt, thanks so much.
Yes, thank you.
We'll be right back.
Where you look. So when you see something you really like, be sure to take that picture of it and share it with us as one of KLBK's Scenes of the South Plains. Each Friday on KLBK's News at 6, you can see your photo on display on our giant studio screens behind Terry and Matt. So share your favorite scene of the South Plains so that we can all enjoy it. Just email your name, phone, and photo to scenes@klbk13.tv.
Hey Lubbock, the Flextra Credits plan from Reliant is coming to town with free electricity days.
Free electricity in Lubbock?
Yep, your 2 highest use days are automatically free every week.
Free electricity days.
Yes, up to 8 free days a month.
Free days? That's a game changer.
Plus, you get 3 $25 credits to apply to your bill.
I can use that.
The Flextra Credits electricity plan is coming to Lubbock. Reliant, that's power your way.
It's the extended year-end clearance sale at the House of Furniture. We're liquidating as much inventory as possible to reduce the tax burden. Recliner starting at $277. Double reclining sofa just $599. Sofa chaise only $499. Accent chairs for $77. 6-piece bedroom group only $899. Plus save hundreds on all mattress sets. Save big at the year-end clearance sale. The House of Furniture. We will not be undersold.
The highest art is beautiful, breathtaking, timeless, and moving. Experience art with 5,000 years of history, inspired by the divine. Coming to the Buddy Holly Hall, January 9th only. Tickets at genuine.com/Lubbock.
Want to build your dream home and save thousands? You build it. Want to build a custom home and save thousands? You build it. Want to update or remodel your home and save thousands? You build it. With You Build It, you can build your dream home and save thousands.
Welcome back. Joining me now, we have Dr. Jennifer Wilson, who is City Councilwoman for District 5. Thank you for being with us today. We're talking about this whole switch over from LP&L. People are kind of doing their retail shopping. And a lot of people have had a lot of questions. So what is the most common question, I guess, that you're seeing?
Yeah, I think the most common question is, what happens if I don't know how to do this? What happens if I don't pick a provider?
Okay.
And I think the simple answer to that is nothing. We have these default providers that are set up that you will transition to, that will continue to provide electricity, you will not lose service, and then as you have time and you can kind of figure out who you want to maybe choose, then you can choose that in the future.
So it's pretty simple.
It's pretty simple.
Now, currently, how many providers do people have to choose from?
Yeah, so the last number I heard was around 34.
Oh.
That it may be more than that. By the time we actually get in, it could be less, as the retail market, advances forward. But as of right now, we're in the 30s.
Wow. So there have been a lot of questions. What is the strangest question, I guess, that you've had in all the questions that y'all have seen?
The strangest question, probably is, am I going to get charged for both? Are we still going to be paying, electricity through LP&L and we have to do a new provider? And that's, simply not the case. LP&L is just going to be an infrastructure company from here on out and provide the services for like the lines that you see and the wires and the poles and kind of maintaining those. And then all of these providers that are coming in are actually going to be the ones providing the actual retail electricity.
Okay. And why is this is a good thing for citizens.
Yeah, so I think anytime you have competition, it's a good thing. You know, that's what our entire economy thrives on, is capitalism and competition. And, you know, and that keeps your rates lower. You know, when there's a single provider, then they get to set the rates, which is what has always happened here in Lubbock, you know, or at least for the most recent time. And so this will now allow you to shop and to find which one suits you the best personally.
Well, Dr. Wilson, thank you so much for
Yes,
being
ma'am.
with us
Thank you
today.
for
We
having
certainly
me.
appreciate it. Y'all don't go anywhere. More after the break.
Full-service electricity broker. Maximum Power can get you the maximum savings on your electricity bill. We have saved our customers $2.1 billion annually by working with local and state providers with an eye towards fluctuating market trends that affect energy costs. Best of all, Maximum Power services are free. That's right, free. Call or click for Maximum Power today.
Wow, must be nice to be perfect, to have no flaws.
It's exhausting.
Last season on So Help Me Todd. I have a 5-year plan. Solve more murders, 20 to 25 a year.
Ooh, that's a lot of murders.
Well, I'm not committing them, I'm solving them.
Harry has left me.
Todd, you did it. You got your license.
I'm back.
Nowhere
A new season of So Help Me Todd.
Harry?
Part of CBS Premiere Week after Super Bowl 58 on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
Want to build your dream home and save thousands? You build it. Want to build a custom home and save thousands? You build it. Want to update or remodel your home and save thousands? You build it. With You Build It, you can build your dream home and save thousands. Call us now for a free consultation or visit us online at youbuildit.com.
This is really a story about everyday American people.
Montana and Mexican drug cartels? Yup.
The response that we should have is not domestic finger pointing.
We're trying to remove the noise.
Fast as Idalia raced through the South.
U.S. citizens are actually transporting these undocumented individuals.
Robert Kennedy Jr.
No talk is off limits.
The UFO whistleblower who we broke the story with.
Let's expose the secrets.
It is make or break time.
It's you, it's me, it's we. That's News Nation.
After driving cattle in the 1880s, hitting the hay could be a literal experience. But some lucky cowpokes got to sack out in a brand new Sealy mattress. And after 140 years, Sealy is still delivering a great night's sleep. That's why Denver Mattress is proud to offer the Sealy Posturepedic Plus Hybrid with cool-to-touch covers, body-hugging memory foam,
Welcome back. You know, we've talked about if you do not choose a provider during these next 6 weeks of the shopping period, you will be assigned a default provider. And one of those 3 providers will be TXU, Octopus, and Reliant Energy. Anna Delgado with here with us now to talk about Reliant. You guys have been in this market for quite some time. Tell us, what sets Reliant apart from any of the other competitors?
Number one is our commitment to customer service. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Whether you want to call us, chat with us, however works best for you, you can call out, and you know somebody will be there to assist you. I think you'll be excited about some of the things we offer. An app that helps you just manage your usage from the tip of your fingertips on your phone. And the thing that I'm most excited about is our commitment to community. And that is something that is near and dear to who Reliant is from our very inception. One of the things that's new that we've just finalized is that we will have several retail locations where people are already going where they can make their payments. So we'll have locations at Walmart, CVS, HEB, and 7-Elevens.
What are some of these special offers that Reliant is bringing to Lubbock when it comes to like Flextra days and credits and stuff like that?
One of the plans that we're excited about that we are bringing to the Lubbock market is called Flextra Credits. And in a nutshell, what it allows you to do is get it's 8 total free electricity days per month, 2 per week. And it's just your highest use days. So for example, for me, I know that on Saturday is the day that we're all home, all of the cleaning gets done, all of the laundry, and that's a day that I use quite a bit of electricity. And then maybe one other day during the week. Those 2 days would be taken off of my bill.
Anna, thank you so much for just walking us through. You guys have been a familiar face over the last couple of years here in Lubbock, Texas, and of course, as a default provider, we'll be hearing a lot from you guys.
Absolutely.
Over the
Thanks for having us.
couple of weeks. Absolutely. Terry?
Thanks so much, Matt. 2 of those other default providers are TXU and Octopus. We sat down with TXU today to talk about what customers can expect, whether they're assigned to TXU as a default or choose them in the 6-week shopping period.
We're 5-star rated with the Public Utility Commission of Texas, and that is tied directly to the experience that our customers have with us each and every day. That's 24/7, 365. If you want to call us on Christmas Eve and talk about electricity, we're here for that. One plan that we're really excited to bring to Lubbock is called Season Pass. So Season Pass gives you 50% off on energy charges in the winter and 50% off energy charges in the summer. Somewhere like Lubbock, where you can really see extreme temperatures in both of those seasons, we think it's a really good fit. But we have a range of plans that are based on the customer needs, how you use electricity and when you use it most. What we're really excited about is just putting this kind of control and choice in the hands of customers.
And if you've got more questions about what all TXU has to offer, give them a call at 855-750-0899 or visit their website that you see right there on the screen, txu.com/Lubbock-electricity-choice. Now, the road to electric competition here in Lubbock has been a long one, but there is an end in sight. Starting this week, you'll be able to begin shopping for your future electric provider. And you've probably seen a few of them advertised in the Hub City over the last year or so. And if you're still struggling to choose one, don't worry. There will be a couple of shopping fairs over at the Civic Center. The first one will be this Friday from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. and again Saturday from 10 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. If you'd like to learn even more about the Big Switch, there is some great information over on LP&L's website, lpnl.com.
Speaking of that website, earlier you heard Matt Rose talk about it and how it will be a huge help to customers over the next 6 weeks. You'll also see a link to thepowertochoose.com where you can check out a comparison of plans, and as you scroll down, you will see those more than 34 approved providers and what services they offer, including if they have plans for solar panels. So plenty of great resources that you can take advantage of. And remember, the shopping period officially opens tomorrow and will close February 15th. Now, if you choose a provider that just so happens to go out of business during your term with him, you'll be assigned to a temporary provider until it's time for you to pick a new one. And another one of those providers that you'll be able to talk to and choose from is Champion Energy. So feel free to give them a call at 1-877-595-0337 or visit their website at championenergyservices.com.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us tonight. We hope we've answered at least most of your questions when it comes to choosing a power provider.
And if there's something that we didn't cover, just head to everythinglubbock.com. We'll see you back here at 10.